Pacers lose late again. They've been in 3 games in the final minute. They've only won one of them. The Magic beat them. Banchero goes crazy. Free throws a problem for the Pacers. So much more we have to get to on today's Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, y'all? Happy Tuesday, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes, and today, first of all, we're doing the intro different. I'm no longer with SI. Kind of bummed. Hopefully, I have the energy for this. Sad day. They let me go, but we push on. We have a lot to talk about with Pacers Magic, the Pacers' third loss of the season, the second one in a row, where they're tied or ahead inside the final minute, where they have stuff that looks better, looks more Pacers-y. A lot of people happier with their effort and their style, and they still lost. Banchero, huge part of that, and a theme that's been happening for the Pacers through these 4 games that we'll talk about in a second. Free throws, a huge problem for the Pacers. Clutch play, again, a problem. So many more things to get to, despite so many good things happening in this game. So many that we won't get to. The biggest thing to me to start with is one thing that's actually 2 things. The one thing is Banchero. That has got to be the lead of this game. The Pacers couldn't stop him. He had 50 points. We'll talk about the how and the why and the oof from that momentarily. But the deeper rooted part of this, Banchero is very good, right? If he was simply the best player in this game, that's fine. Something that's been a theme for the Pacers so far is they have not had the best player in a single game they've played. Now, I will sit here and say, if you want to tell me that you thought Siakam or Mathurin were better than Cade Cunningham in the opener, okay, that's fine. I will not even argue with you. I'll say that's fine. But if you want to say that you thought Cade was better than either of them, I would also say that's fine. And then clearly, in order, it would have been, whoever, Brunson, Cat, whoever you feel like it was, and then Maxey and now Banchero. And that's a big part of the Pacers being 1-3 is they questionably had the best player in their first game and definitely haven't since. And they have to improve on that because their stars were way better in this game, to be clear. Haliburton and Siakam were better. Banchero was way better than both of them, right? They were better than their past selves, but Paolo was amazing. 50 points. First 50-point game in the NBA this season. He was just simply outstanding in this game, right? He could not be stopped at all. He would barrel to the rim for baskets. He would shoot tough jumpers over his defender. He would do it all, right? And what really made this tough for the Pacers is that they couldn't stop fouling him. No matter what the matchup was that they were trying to deal with, they couldn't stop him barreling towards the basket. Early in the game, it was Siakam. It wasn't Siakam for very long. Didn't work very well. Then they tried Aaron Nesmith for a little bit. Andrew Nembhard got the assignment. They mixed in other guys, Toppin, whoever. Lots of guys were on him at various points in this game. I don't need to relitigate every single one of them because none of them did a particularly good job. Nesmith had the assignment most of the time. I'm not even going to kill his defense. They were on him. He'd just go through him and score at the basket a lot of times. Or this is where he separated himself from other Banchero games because he is powerful all the time. He's a very good rim finisher. He's not the best jump shooter normally. Today, he only missed 4 2-point shots, and he was making jumpers. He made 3 threes, and he was hitting long twos and very tough ones. He had 37 points at halftime. In the second quarter barrage, where he just went insane and was unstoppable, was like primarily that. Him just drilling tough shots over anyone at any time. The Magic said here, and they would clear out every time, and the Pacers had to double. And a complaint I would have if I were like being very critical of the Pacers was they started to double him too late. Now, I think the general consensus I have in that's a little different than everybody because he was hitting jumpers, right? You don't need to like send 2 to a guy just burying jumpers in your face the whole time. If they're driving past you, like you can't crowd their space, sure. But they needed to double him a little sooner still than they did. And they couldn't get to that. They did really slow him down in the second half. In the third quarter, they did a very good job defending Banchero. In the fourth quarter, he got going just enough to get it done. In fact, I think he scored double digits in the fourth quarter. He had 9 in the fourth, but he didn't miss a shot. He missed a bunch of free throws, but he did not miss a shot in the fourth quarter. That was the biggest thing holding the Pacers back in this game. They could not stop him, no matter who it was. I wish matchup data was already in for this, but second quarter, This is not a full game stallion. Second quarter, Banchero had 18, 3 and 3 on 6 of 8 shooting. That's a good game. That's a career game for lots of dudes who come through the NBA. That was his second quarter. He could not be stopped. Jumpers, rim attacks, drawing fouls. Julius Randle-esque, the way he would just bowling ball through the lane like the Pacers players were pins. He was the best player by far. That was the biggest problem in this game. The Pacers could not slow him down. And they doubled him a little too late. In a 4-point game like this, any 2 possessions, 1 possession is a big deal. And I think they should have started doubling him a little bit sooner. Thing 2 that really stands out to me about this Pacers loss, crushing in this way. Free throws. There's no deep dive analysis for me to do here. Make them. They have to go in. They're not free if they don't go in. Pacers in this game, 20 for 30 from the foul line. The Pacers' best quarter of this game was the third quarter. They were unbelievably good in that quarter. They had 39 points. They also missed 6 of their 10 free throws they missed in the game in that quarter. It felt like they split a pair every time they went up there. Obviously, you can't ask for everything if you're, the Pacers and you have a better game and a lot of stuff goes well for you offensively. But if they shoot 75% even from 3, they're tied at least, right? Like they're right in it. And 75 is not even that good of a percentage. It's like acceptable. Free throws killed them in this game. Nesmith missed 2, Siakam missed 1, Turner missed 1, Haliburton missed 1, Nembhard missed 1, Toppin missed 1, Isaiah Jackson missed 3. Isaiah Jackson's not a great free throw shooter. He split a pair all 3 times he went to the line. And we'll get to him later, by the way. He was sensational in this game outside of that. Free throws killed the Pacers, which is funny because that was also it just happened in Philly. Look, there's no analysis to do. Make them. They need to go in. Right now, the Pacers are 29th in the NBA in free throw percentage, 71.6 through 4 games. Only the Grizzlies have been worse. They are attempting a good amount. 27 isn't awesome, but you take 27 for a Pacers team that you don't think of as a free throw shooting team. That's 10th in the league. It's pretty good. But the percentage is not good, and that's really holding them back for a team that has this free-flowing offense. You'd think it'd be breaking them up or be arrhythmic. No. They're the only team in the top 10 of attempts that isn't making 20 a game. That says a lot about their percentage, right? So they've got to just make them. In fact, the Hornets and Pelicans and Rockets, who are taking at least 2 free throws per game less, and the Spurs are all averaging more makes per game. Again, this is an actual analysis. This is just like raw percentages. Make them. Go in the basket. If they shot good free throws, decent free throws even, against Philly or Orlando, they're 2-2 right now. It killed them once again in this game. They just have to go in. They got bailed out a little bit because the Magic also kind of stunk at the foul line in this game. Orlando finished 28 for 38. They missed also 10 free throws. They took 8 more, though. That was a big problem for the Pacers. And theme 3, 2 games in a row of this, too. Same thing that just happened against Philly. Biggest thing getting in the Pacers' way in this game. Clutch time play. Again. The Pacers were up by 8 with 7.5 minutes to go in this game. They lost by 4. That means the last 7.5 minutes, they lost by 12 points. That won't cut it. If they go -6 in that stretch, they win. Minus a point a minute almost, they win. But they couldn't even do that. They have not played well in fourth quarters this season. They really didn't play well in the fourth quarter tonight, especially down the stretch. This fourth quarter was 17 points for the Pacers. 2 for 7 from deep, 6 for 22 from the field. You can do some quick math if you want, but that means they were 4 for 15 on 2s, 2-point shots. Siakam had a great game, but he missed some easy ones there. Nembhard had a good game. He missed some easy ones in the fourth. That really clouds people's judgments of their overall games, but those 2 missed 8 of those 14 misses for the Pacers in the fourth. Just has to be better. The clutch play has to be better for the Pacers. It was not good against Philly either. And yet, you can poke holes in that offensive number. Their defense really fell apart in this one because here's what happened. I tweeted this because I thought it was so significant. Banchero's having this awesome game, and they did a really good job slowing him down in the third quarter specifically. Credit the Pacers for that. Fourth quarter starts, Pacers up 5. Banchero's out of the game. Huge stretch for the Pacers. And they did win this stretch, to be clear. It was 4 minutes. In fact, his subbing in was the turning point. It was 4 minutes and 9 seconds. He was out. He subbed in with 7:51 to go, and the Pacers were up 105-97. So their lead in 4 minutes with him out went up 3 points. If that stretch went a little better, Suggs hit a 3 in that stretch. Mo Wagner was like a man on a possessed out there, but the Pacers didn't hit very many shots. They got free throws from Siakam, and he hit another jumper, but they, in general, did not score enough in that stretch. Had they extended their lead from 5 to 10, in that stretch. I get that that's a lot to ask. There's only 4 minutes. But if that stretch went a little better, I think they would have won the game. Because Banchero came in, instant free throws, instant step back. It's a 3-point game. Let's go. Magic crowd's into it. Banchero's in it. Here come the Magic. That was the real bad stretch of the fourth quarter. But of course, the Pacers were tied in the final minute again. Second game in a row where this has happened. Pacers are tied with 2:41 to go. They terrible tech from Aaron Nesmith. 2 minutes to go. It's a tie game. He fouls Anthony Black setting a screen. I get why he was frustrated that they called that foul in that moment. That was his 6th he fouled out. It's in the bonus. It's just before 2 minutes, too, where the reset comes for the 2 fouls to get in the bonus. So he fouls out, and it's free throws, and he's frustrated. Tech. Bad tech. Horrible tech for the Pacers. Nesmith was great in the fourth quarter against Philly. That was bad. The Magic hit all 3. It's another up 3 in the final 2 minutes. Misses from everybody for the next couple trips. Pacers get lucky. They get Haliburton a good look, and he drills it with 53 seconds to go. They're alive. They've tied it up with 53 seconds to go, and yet right away on the other end, why they have to stop Banchero. They send two to him. They do a good job. Ball moves very well for the Magic. Gets to Suggs, who whips it across to Anthony Black in the opposite corner. Anthony Black, not thought of as a shooter, drills the corner 3. Brilliant. He was very good in the fourth quarter of this game. Credit where credit's due to him. Pacers go to Turner for a little turnaround in the post. Interesting shot. Maybe not what I would have gone to. I would not have gone to a 2-pointer anyway, but especially not that one. He missed it. Pacers never had a chance again. The tough defensive execution. I get why Black was that open when they're trying to slow Banchero, but he was really, really open. The tech was bad. The shot attempt after going down 3 was bad. They had chances. They couldn't get it done. So themes are coming for the Pacers. They need to overcome at least one of these things. Look, the Celtics might just steamroll them. The Celtics look incredible on Wednesday. But the Pacers cannot go into every game with a free throw issue and not having the best player on the floor every game. And they really can't do that and have clutch issues. You know how you avoid clutch issues? You avoid clutch time by making free throws, right? Like if they were just better from the foul line, these close games, they'd have a huge advantage late. It's all kind of adding up on each other. And here go the Pacers. Losing again, 1-3. I thought they'd be 2-2 by now. They should probably think they should be. They're close to 0-4. They're close to 3-1. That's all been very tight, but they have not gotten over the hump except for in Detroit. They've got to be better. Celtics Wednesday. So much more to get to today. The Pacers did actually look better. Isaiah Jackson was awesome. The rotation, scratching my head a little bit. Much to get to there as we continue here on the Locked On Pacers podcast. Before we get to any of that, though, we need to talk about the terrific people over at Gametime. The best way to get tickets to sports, theater, comedy, whatever events you're going to near you, Gametime is the place to go. They have filter out all the fluff. They get rid of all the crap in the process that is ticket buying by showing you your seat view right in the app. When I used it to go watch New York Liberty, the Barclays Center, spot on. Absolutely perfect. They have their lowest price guarantee. Of course, I love knowing that I'm spending the least amount of money. You have their super deals and their curated deals. They have event cancellation protection and job loss protection. So you feel good about what you're buying already. And they have the Gametime Picks feature, which makes them show you what they consider to be the best deals they have. Filters out the fluff, shows you the incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste your time flipping through all of them and seeing all that. You can see just the best ones. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime Picks. Download the app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDO and NBA for $20 off at Gametime. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime. And we are back here on Locked On Pacers. Thanks for making us your first listen today and every single day, or second listen. Locked On NBA. I'll be on there tomorrow with Wes Goldberg, as I will be every Wednesday episode there. Or, of course, Locked On Magic. Philip Rossman-Reich will have the tales. I assume he's there. He's at all the Magic games. The tales of Paolo Banchero's destruction of the Indiana Pacers. My Lord, was he good. I mean, I think people will get frustrated with how often he got to go to the foul line, some of them on fouls that we were all told would not be fouls this season in the NBA. What happened to that? That has not been the case, but they were. And to be clear, there was contact on them. It's very inconsistent with the NBA deems isn't a foul. Either way, he was amazing. I'm not trying to diminish that by saying all that. Philip Rossman-Reich with more there. Okay, other stuff in my notes I wanted to run through. First of all, I think that people don't realize Franz Wagner being out was a huge deal. That was a big opportunity that the Pacers needed to take advantage of. But his brother, Mo, was massive for the Magic. in terms of momentum in this game. Okay, I want to talk about the rotation, and then I want to do a little more on Banchero and then stuff that went good, because there was some stuff that actually went very good for the Pacers in this game. Let's start with the rotation because people had questions about it, and I don't want to get too overly critical of this. What I will say first is 2 early fouls on Siakam really shook things up. Toppin came in really early. Toppin played very well again. He only played 14 minutes. He was awesome. 14 points, 5 of 6, hit 3 huge threes. That's 2 games in a row where he's looked very efficient and very effective for the Pacers. He gives them a nice offensive element. Defense needs to be better, but they want his minutes. That's all they can ask for. But that really changed things up in terms of how they were approaching their front court combinations. And it helped that their backup center played an excellent game. But it was really interesting how the Pacers kind of sliced things up, because things really changed dramatically from that point on, with Siakam in foul trouble and Nesmith in foul trouble. He fouled out, and Turner in foul trouble. He had 5. Again, we just talked about Banchero getting to line a bunch. Wendell Carter with 6 free throws. Jalen Suggs had 4. Mo Wagner had 4. They just fouled a lot in this game. That's how you get 30 free throws for the Pacers and 38 for the Magic. Super long game. No one likes 3-hour games. So, other rotation stuff that was different. Ben Shepherd came in much earlier. He played in the first half for, I believe, the first time the whole season that he played in the first half. Ben Shepherd, very reliable. Hit half his shots. Hit 40% of his threes. They won his minutes. He had 8 points. He played fine enough defense. He was up at the level when he needed a double Paolo Banchero. Good job. That's why he played that much. That's what they need him to do. He doesn't require the ball very much on a team that is having an identity crisis on who should have the ball. So he played earlier than normal. TJ McConnell did not play in the whole first quarter of this game. And I immediately went, whoa, what's going on there? He starts in the second half. TJ McConnell also did not play in the whole second half of this game. Very interesting. 5 minutes and 36 seconds for McConnell. He went over 3 with 2 turnovers and 1 assist, -7. Never played again. They played a little bit of zone in that stretch. That was very interesting. That was very new for the Pacers. Jarris Walker barely played. 2 minutes and 21 seconds. 1 stint. He had 1 steal, 1 turnover. That was all his stats. So very different Pacers rotation. Ben Mathurin only played 13 minutes and 45 seconds. Okay, so let's talk about the guys who played less than normal. That would be Obi Toppin, Ben Mathurin, TJ McConnell, Jarris Walker. McConnell's a good defender for his size, but in general, none of those guys are guys you'd consider awesome defenders. Mathurin had a really rough defensive game on Monday. Was better than his stint today. They were clearly looking for size and defense to play, and the Magic have a ton of size that kind of neutralize what the Pacers can do. I do get some of the decisions they made, not all of them. I think there needs to be some more balance here. So here's what I wrote in my notes about the rotation, to be specific. I wrote that the lineups feel very random, and I don't mean that critically. And that is verbatim what I wrote. I'll take a screenshot if anyone wants to see it. Lineups just feel very random. I don't even mean that critically, because it feels like every game I've tweeted at some point, the 5-man combination on the floor, because I just think it's interesting that it's out there, right? Like Haliburton, Shepherd, Walker, Toppin, Jackson, or something. Like, oh, okay, that's new, or that's it's just how it goes. And so I can't tell right now. What I don't know right now, and I wasn't at this game to ask these questions, is, are they experimenting? Are they trying to find answers that could be considered the same thing? Either way, it's just kind of been weird. So, like, obviously, a lot of stuff stands out there, right? I think Mathurin's number should be a little higher, but I don't know who I necessarily would take minutes away from. You need Aaron Nesmith to guard against a big team with Paolo Banchero out there. Even though Nesmith didn't play particularly well, maybe a lot of you will say him. Andrew Nembhard played very well until the fourth quarter, and a lot of people were in my mentions saying they did not think he played well. I will just never agree with the fan base on him. That's fine, but you have to figure out who the minutes come away from. Maybe it's Ben Shepherd, right? Who knows? But I do agree he needs to play more than that. He's their most effective. This isn't true. People keep saying he's their best scorer. That's been Siakam all season, but he is at times definitely their most effective perimeter scorer, especially this season. So they just need him to play more, closer to 20 minutes for sure. But I don't know how specifically against the Magic they do it. That said, the Celtics are a team they will need Ben Mathurin against. I think Ben Mathurin should play a ton on Wednesday, like a lot, because they'll need him. And they got to figure out their right rotation. And fouls changed things up early, but they went to Shepherd earlier than normal. They went to McConnell and Walker much less than normal. So I want to ask Rick before the game Wednesday, I think, what is that experimenting? Is that solutions? Is it matchup based? Right? Because he did say when he was asked about Shepherd and Walker and them splitting halves earlier this season that they have a plan going into every game, but the game flow kind of mandates what you do. So it's been different all the time. What's really going on there? I thought it was just kind of felt random in different ways. I'm not going to talk anymore about Banchero, even though I said I would. I've already discussed how monstrous he was. I do want to talk about the good stuff that happened in this game because I said this Monday too, and I mean it both times. There's a lot of stuff that went well and felt more Pacers-y in this game, even more so than Monday, where I already said that again could have made this podcast feel so positive. Wow, all this stuff went right. They won. They're 2-2. Instead, they lose. It's not positive. We can't start with positive stuff. We will end with positive stuff on today's Locked On Pacers. And we're back here on Locked On Pacers. Thanks for making us your first listen today. And every single day, your second listen. Locked On Sixers. Joel Embiid got a late technical foul against the Pacers after the game. The Bucks lost again. The Bucks feeling like a team in crisis right now. The Nuggets lost again, feeling like a team in crisis right now. If you want to feel a little better about the Pacers not starting very well, listen to those two teams who also thought they'd be better and have not started very well this season. Let's talk about good stuff. A lot of people tweeted about good stuff. The Pacers felt Pacers-y to me in the second half against Philly at times. They were running after makes. They were flying to the floor in transition. Their star guard had his best scoring game of the season. That was all good. They need that to look better. Today, that came even more to fruition. This game had their best pace. Their pace went up 4 slots in the rankings. Too early to actually say like what does and doesn't matter on that front. Their pace was good, though. Their tempo felt good. The ball was moving. The third quarter in particular, everybody was talking about it. That looked like the Pacers of last year on offense. Get to the rim, pressure, defense, rotate, pass, move, buckets. And it's hard with this team because they're so good offensively or were last year, to conflate shots going in with success. The third quarter against Philly, they were not making shots and they looked good to me. This game, a lot of their looking good stretches came when they were also making shots, and that's important to note that just because they're making shots doesn't mean they're playing better. Tonight, I thought both were the case. So their pace was there. Some of that was Haliburton had the ball more, which is something I talked about after Monday's show. Or on Monday's show, excuse me. 19 points, 10 assists. There it is. 9 rebounds, almost a triple-double. After spending all summer saying his 2-pointers were good during his injury stretch, 2 for 6 on 2s in this game, 4 for 9 on 3s for the second game in a row, 1 rebound away from a triple-double, 1 point off of his season averages from last year of 20 and 10, right? That was a good to great Tyrese Haliburton game. And it didn't even feel like it, which is how remarkable he was at times last year. Like that was an average game for him last season. Good player. That's important. That's 2 games in a row, 4 for 9 from deep, creeping back into those 3-point things. Disappeared in the fourth a little bit. And everybody was putting that on him. And I can't do that. He didn't have the ball in the fourth. He took 2 shots, right? Nembhard and Siakam combined for 11. Siakam should have shot a lot. He was very good. And those 2 had 3 of the Pacers' 4 assists were from Nembhard in that quarter. The other one came from Isaiah Jackson. So, he didn't have the ball very much in the fourth quarter, Tyrese Haliburton. He needed to get it. They needed to get it to him. That's on the team as much as him. That's on the other players and the coaching staff because he was playing very well. If he had a little bit more chance to be free and alive late, perhaps that would have changed things. But either way, Haliburton, after a top of the backboard 3 that made me concerned early that he might not do well, he really came alive. 2 straight 3s after that, had a really good game. And in general, the Pacers' best effort, best tempo, best pace. This is the bucket that made me know, right? Last game, there was a make, and the Pacers had 4 guys run in transition, and Siakam just turned and got a post up and scored. This game, the Magic scored. Obi Toppin ran the floor and dunked in transition on a made shot. Like that is Pacers attacking using their tempo. So signs of life there. Hasn't led the results yet. So who cares? Why am I talking about these positives? Because it matters. They got to get back to that style. That's what made them so good at their absolute best last year. Other good stuff from this game. Holy smokes, Isaiah Jackson. He was 2 for 8 and was awesome. Like if he had an okay efficiency night, this would have been one of the best games I've ever seen him play. 9 rebounds, 7 of them were offensive. Just absolutely battling, jumping, fighting, physical play down there from Isaiah Jackson. Got to the foul line a bunch as a result of the battling down low. That's how he was 8 points on 8 shots, despite going 2 for 8. So 9 rebounds. That led the team. They needed to be better rebounding, but they were okay. 44 to 46. Great rebounding game. 2 assists, including the best pass I think he's thrown in a game his whole career to a shooter for a 3. Really good there. Running the floor very well. Drawing in defenders. He's running so fast, defenders go, oh, crap, he's going to get a layup and leave someone else. 4 blocks. Dominant rim presence on the defensive end and only 3 fouls. He was sensational. You just felt his presence all the time. I had 3 notes about how well it felt like he was playing. Really, really, really good game from Isaiah Jackson. He played 22 minutes. I believe that's a season high without looking. It's only been 4 games, so there's no point of really diving into looking that up. But he was terrific. He needs to be that guy more often. In fact, someone tweeted at me, and I think they were right. There was a big stretch of the first half. He was their best player on the floor. Really, really great Isaiah Jackson game. They need more of that again. The second half start was really good, and I think the most Pacers-y, and I want to talk about it. 20-8 run to start that before Haliburton, Shepard, Walker, Toppin, Jackson was in there, like I talked about. And that lineup did pretty well. That third quarter was the most Pacers-y stretch we've seen all season. And I think it was the rim pressure that made it all pop. Like, if you go look at the Pacers shot chart from that quarter, they went 12 for 21 from the field. I'm going to do quick math. They took 2 mid-range shots. So I don't even have to do that much math. 19 shots from the rim or 3. And they made one of the mid-rangers. And of their threes, they made 3 out of 7. 2 were from the corner. That's great. One above the break 3. And then they did very well in the paint. They missed 4 shots in the paint. And they made all the rest. That is Pacers basketball. That was their best quarter by far. They went from almost down 15 to winning in that quarter. That was the best they've looked all season. And to me, and what my notes say were, 1, the Magic were missing shots, but the Pacers were actually forcing the missed shots. They were defending well. 2, the pace and rim pressure, that was it. That was it. And I think rim pressure is the thing specifically that matters the most to me. Even though the pace they have to get up, they could be 10th in pace if they're attacking the rim a lot and getting stuff moving. Man, they've got to move. They've got to play like that. That was awesome. They've got to look like that more often. And then they were up 3 when that Haliburton plus Shepard, Walker, Toppin, Jackson group was in. I thought, oh, this is weird. What's this going to look like? And they did well. They actually extended their lead with that group. You know why? Because Haliburton was playing well and they were playing their style. And when that's happening, any point guard plus any Pacers combo just works. It just does. We've seen that last year too. So that stretch, they need to hang their hat on and study. What did we do so well? How do we keep this up? Because they got a great Isaiah Jackson game. They got a very good Tyrese Haliburton game. And the last guy I want to talk more than 2 seconds about, his fourth quarter was not very good. His everything before that was sensational. Was Pascal Siakam, who had 26 points on 18 shots, made 2 threes, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Awesome Pascal Siakam game. For lots of stretches, he looked like the best player on the floor when Banchero wasn't doing his dominant play. He was definitely the best pacer in this game, Siakam was. His defense has been much better this season. The fourth quarter, he needed one or two more to go in, but he was very, very good. The Pacers stars, this was the best combined game they've had this year. So Toppin was good. Jackson was good. Siakam was good. Haliburton was good. 50% shooting from Nembhard and Turner. The Pacers cleaned up their turnovers, only 12 in this game. They were right in it in the rebounding battle. They made 45% of their threes. All stuff that would sound great after Monday's game. They lost. The free throws, the Banchero, the clutch play killed them. They've just got to clean that stuff up. And it sounds so easy, but they haven't done it. And they weren't particularly good at some of that stuff last year. It's right in front of them. They've got to do it. They haven't been the team from last year that would respond so far. They would have bad losses. They'd respond. They had a bad loss Sunday, and then another bad loss Monday, and they had another bad loss today. And I mean, relatively not that bad. I think Monday most people would say was bad. Sorry, Sunday would be the one that most people. Wow, I got all those days wrong. Friday loss was bad. Sunday was then also bad. And then Monday was also bad. Just the way it feels because it was a close game. I don't think any of those were truly bad, except for the Sixers game. In New York, in Orlando, okay, that you live with that. But they were in it. They had a chance. The Philly game really stings for this Pacers team. Boston coming up. They beat Boston twice last year, but that team looks phenomenal right now. We'll talk with John Corrales about that for tomorrow's Locked On Pacers Eastern Conference Finals rematch. Can the Pacers capture the Magic and actually beat that team again? Or the Celtics just keep on firing and looking like an absolute terrorizingly good team? We'll have to see. John and I will talk about it tomorrow and then breaking down that game for Thursday. And then Friday, we'll talk about the Pelicans, the weekend coming for the Pacers. Some early season-ish stats. That'll be like a week and a half to really dive into. Probably a guess for that. We'll see. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I hope I had enough energy because weird day for me. And we're back tomorrow. I'll have some stories up on the Pacers Pace very soon on Forbes. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We will see you very soon.